Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brandon from Decision Support. Today I'm hosting our daily lunch and learn from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If anyone, there were no pre-submitted questions here, so if anyone has questions, feel free to just let us know in the chat and we can give you permission to speak if necessary. So there weren't any pre-submitted questions on. So when that happens, normally I like to show like something I've learned new on the product recently. So I'm sharing my screen now of my decision screen. Um, what I've learned recently, we have a new feature. I don't know actually how new this feature is, but we have a create folder documentation action. And so right now I just have a flow here. If I right click this action or right click and go to import/export and click create lunch and learn here, it will create this HTML here, and it will give you a sort of like a report, like an HTML that has, everything about that within that folder project. So flows, statement rules, matrix rules, truth tables, forms, and data types. Because it's just something I just created a basic flow here and just did that here. But for like more larger projects, it'll have a lot more detail here as far as like the flows and objects to use. This is a new feature. I believe it's available. I believe it is a new feature to 7. I'd have to double check if it's in 6. But that is one of the newer things I've more recently discovered with the product. So it's always cool to find something new like that. Let me see if I can, do we have any other, let's see. I see Jeremy here. Did you have any questions or about the product at all? Okay, let me see if I can think of some other tricks to show. Give me a minute. Actually, I know of a tool that's I use pretty often on the tool itself. And I feel like not enough customers really know about it if they're new to decisions, is the query editor, which is a really powerful tool here. Goes and this is on any designer folder you have access to. You can go to other query editor, and here you'll have a list of like all the tables on your default instance, and you can basically query any data on your decisions instance here. You can even actually run queries and update queries from here. And you can actually even choose what database you want to run those on. Right now, I only have it set up for my local connection here, but you can always just run a query here. I'll just grab from an account real quick, and you'll get those results back from your SQL database. You can run update queries and other sort of queries. It's a very powerful tool if used correctly. So, be careful with it because it is easy to get yourself in a bad state here. I always recommend taking a database backup before running queries against your decision database this way. But this is also really like if you need to just see what's happening with the data and maybe not have access to the database itself, you can always just go to query editor and just run this here. That's also a really powerful tool we have in the product. And if Jeremy, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask them here. Right now, I'm just thinking of little tips and tricks I can always show off. Just sort of filling the time here. Okay, well, next I will show off flow inline fields. Flow inline field is for report essentially, and you can have like a report column sourced from a flow. It's really cool. It's a really cool feature that we use for, you have certain data that you want to just take from your report or from your data source and just have that on the flow. You want to take some data from every row and then do some sort of change and then present that on a report. It's a tool more for that. Now it is a good tool, but it is also a really heavily performant, a really heavy tool, meaning that it uses a lot of resources to use. So, and I can explain that a little bit more. So I have the account data source here, and I'll just grab some account ID and created by and employee ID. So actually, let me just cut this off. I'll use employee ID. Let's just go ahead and just do it. So we'll go here. We'll type in inline. Oops, inline. If I can spell. Type today. Flow inline field here, and we'll go ahead and just select our flow. We will create a new flow here for inline field flow, and we'll just call it this for now. These are just default settings, and essentially you have a flow here, and on the flow itself, you'll get the report row, page context ID, and the standard flow data and system constants. But this flow report row basically allows you to just select a field from that row and then map that out. And so you can do a lot of different things with this. Like you can use this to calculate certain ages or certain dates, or you can do this to sort of append like strings or whatever you need to do there. The important thing to remember though when using this is that this is a flow that runs for every single row here. So for a report that uses maybe 50 items or something, it works fine. But when you start going into like when you think about scaling and using like a larger report that has like 1,000, maybe 2,000 different records, that report's going to load, but it's going to run 2,000 flows to generate this column here. So it is a really cool tool, really fun to work with, but it is also pretty heavy and using in your process. So it is something to keep in mind whenever using something like this. Okay, well, looks like our participants are all gone for the day. So I want to thank you for joining our decisions webinar. Please tell your colleagues about us and always remember our motto: decisions automate everything. You have a good one. Bye.